Hey there, have you ever had so many podcasts and you couldn't get through them? I am a podcast junkie and I found an app that I really like to get through podcasts. Welcome, Mac friends. Here I'm going to go through an app called Mimir. This app I found it's by an indie developer, so I think it's a hidden gem and I've been using it for over a year. And let's go through and take a look at what it can do for your podcast listening. So first to overview, I've taken this app and run it through as it paces. It's a Mac app, an iPhone app, and an iPad app as well. And a couple of the good features it has is it can skip silences. It can speed up your listening up to 2.5 speed, much faster than the podcast app. And it can also voice boost. So the voice boost feature makes it much clearer when you're going faster. And then the pricing model is very reasonable. So let's jump to the app and I'll show you a little bit. First, let's go to what you're probably most concerned about is how much does it cost. So if you want to purchase it, in-app purchase, premium subscription is just $12.49 a year. It's quite reasonable for using it on a daily basis. And that gives you the voice boost, the continuous playback, and skipping silences and stuff using their custom audio engine. Then I also like it's got a up next queue, and the up next queue makes it so that I always have something to listen to and I never run out of things. I'll go through kind of the screens here and give you a little bit of a feature overview. First, on the left-hand side, we have kind of the home screen, and this is where it's going to show you the latest podcasts, stuff you have that you consider to be priority, things that you stopped listening to and could pick back up. And then that's in the middle here. There's also downloads, and you can manage the downloads as well. It has recommendations based on podcasts that you've subscribed to, so this is pretty good, although it does show me a few recommendations that I've already subscribed to. But I can check this once in a while to kind of figure out what I want to listen to and see if there's anything new. But often I will find a reference to a new podcast on some website or whatever, and then I can subscribe to the RSS feed for the podcast. So let's just click to copy the RSS feed here, and we'll go back. On the bottom left here, I need to move myself out of the way. You have the plus button, and you can add a podcast. So when I add the podcast, I can just paste in the RSS feed. See, it's gonna click the load button. So I'll click the load button here. And now it's checking out the feed. It found a feed and we'll add it to the library. So as you can see, these categories were not made, not by default. This is categories that I created, and it puts a new feed right here. So hardcore history, I can put into, say, pop culture. And that's where I, kind of some non-essential things, but interesting podcasts. So once I've added it there, you can see the whole list here, and it's sorted. So we'll go down to the H's to find hardcore history right here. And okay, so we found the podcast, and you can see that now that it's in the library, it gives a lot of information here, including summary, how many episodes, languages, it even tries to find the email and allow you to share it and get to the podcast website. And then you have the list of episodes and settings screen here. So if you want to give it a priority, I'll show you what these priorities do later, but they allow, they will, up the podcast in the continuous playback. So then you can do some other things like have it automatically download because you want to listen to it right away whenever you get that episode, etc. So that's the podcast feed page, and if you want to look at one of the episodes, then you can do so here. And if you click on this three dot thing, it will give you a little bit of an explanation of the episode. you can right click and you can say add to queue or play next. So if I hit play next, it's going to go into the queue right there in the up next, and it's going to start downloading. So while it downloads, I'm going to show you the search feature as well, and that's another way you can add podcasts. So I also was looking at Naval Ravikant's website and saw that he had a book and had some audio version of it in a podcast. So when I go to here, I can get a list of I was going to try and get the podcast, but I see there's no RSS feed. So then maybe I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go back to the site, and on the left side you have the search function. And you can see I did a search already for this. But so we'll put this in the box and we'll hit return. Oh, no results found. Maybe let's just call it Smart Friends. We get a result, and then we can view the details of this podcast. So you can see that it shows some of the latest episodes. I don't see the Naval one, but I have a feeling it's an old one, so I'm going to add it to the library. When I add it to the library, it's now in the library, and I can click on that again to go to the library. Okay, sorry, I'm going to go to the library here, and you can see it put it down there. And I think that we can find Naval's postings if we go all the way down here. So he's got a posting on how to build wealth. Oh, yeah, I want to do that. I want to listen to that. So let's say play next. And that's also downloading. Okay, so you kind of get an idea of how to manage these podcasts. I'm going to drag and drop it into the actionable folder as well. Make sure everything's nice and clean. Okay, so I guess now that we've kind of managed the podcasts, what about playing them? Well, the player is here, and I can hit the play button, and now it started to play. So I think you can hear Mike Pesca talking very fast at 2.5 speed. I don't know if you heard me talking over that, so I'll say it again. That was Mike Pesca talking very fast at 2.5 speed. He was skipping the silences, and it was also voice boosted by this here. And so you have those preferences, and you can also then have it automatically go to sleep. So if you want to listen to podcasts before you go to bed, it can stop playing after 10 minutes or after you finish an episode. Then if you want to like a podcast, it has this. So this is good to keep track of podcast episodes that you've liked. And there's a few other playback preferences. You can also get to the global playback preferences here, where you have a master volume. You have options for changing the skip buttons, and you can play with the skip silence and voice boost effects here as well. And you can see that it does its syncing through iCloud, so you can sync your preferences and your library through iCloud to your iPhone, which is like really good, because then I can go back and forth between my desk and on the road, and just have all my podcasts there and be at the same spot that I was. Even the playback is synced. Then I think the other settings are not so interesting, so we'll skip over that. But now you also have this menu bar item, and in the menu bar item you get to see the current playing podcast, and then you can say play next episode. Okay, so we skipped the Mike Pesca one. Now we can play the Naval Ravikant one.
Part 1, wealth. How to get rich without getting lucky. 1, building wealth. Making money is not a thing you do. It's a skill you learn. Understand how wealth is created. I like to think that.
Okay, so you can see that you can do all the same options to control your podcast from the menu bar. So that's another great little thing. And then even the podcast app, Mimir, has video podcasts. Now, I don't really experiment with these. I've been more on YouTube, but this can also be a good little feature that I don't think a lot of podcast apps support video. So finally, I think what we'll do is we'll switch over to the iPhone. And so I'm going to go to my iPhone here, and we're connecting. And this is the same Mimir app on iPhone. and you can see that it has the Dan Carlin's hardcore history right here. So it synchronized it over. It is showing Mike Pesca, so that is not in sync. You can swipe down and get the latest episodes and updates, so I'm going to do that. And while it's updating, I'm going to head over to the episodes section here. So in the episode section, it shows your latest podcasts, but it also has these episode collections, which I think is a little bit different than the Mac version. And so a lot of times I'll check just added to see what podcasts just were detected. And I have it checking every 30 minutes or more to find new podcasts. As I mentioned, you have the favorites. So these are the ones that you favorited, and they will show up in this queue, and then you can go through and listen to them again or maybe share with friends. And recently played is also a good one in that, if you just listen to it, but oh wait, I forgot something, I want to go back to that one, you can see that your recently played podcasts are here as well. It has all the things where you can manage downloads on both the Mac and iOS. If you want, you can even go on the Mac version, and in settings, you have a place where you can store the downloads folder, which is actually in your downloads folder. So if you reveal it in Finder, you have a whole podcast folder with all your podcasts. And if it's taking up too much space, very easy to delete. It's not even hidden in your library folder. So I think that's another advantage of how easy it is to manage this. What else did I forget to show you? I think the syncing works well, but not perfectly. As you can see, the current podcast is a little bit different. Hopefully, I tend to use it heavily on one platform or another, not really going back and forth too much. But anyway, it's good enough syncing that I know, like, if I find a podcast that I want to subscribe to, I can subscribe to it in the Mac version, and then I'll find it on my iPhone. This allows me to listen to lots of podcasts. I never run out of things to listen because it has a continuous playlist, and you can do a lot of things here where, okay, I want to listen to the podcast I'm subscribed to that I've given a good priority to, and so that means I like them and they should show up when I'm in my queue. And so now that I've clicked on that, you can see there's a whole continuous playback queue here. So if I didn't have all these podcasts above, it would then if I ran out of something to listen, it would find something here. And these are kind of the ones that I've prioritized and said, okay, these are really good podcasts because I've given them a priority. This app Mimir is going to save you time. It's going to play back faster. It works on multiple platforms and is a little bit more Mac native than most podcast apps that are written for iPhone first. So that's something I like as well. I think if you have any suggestions or questions about this app, you can put your comments on YouTube, and then also definitely let me know if you find apps that you prefer. I'm always interested in finding new podcast apps. But and sorry, I was about to leave, but one more thing. One of the reasons that I started to use this one is because I felt very comfortable with it because it has an import and export functionality. And so it can import from your Apple Podcast app library, and it can also import and export as OPML. So OPML is kind of a standard format that some of the other podcast apps use, and that means you can then kind of get in and out. And so I don't feel like I'm trapped here, and it's something that makes it so if this indie author of this app can't support it anymore, I can still get into another app, and so I like that. Okay, so that was the one last thing. Thank you for joining. I'll see you in the next video. Appreciate you watching.